Hey everyone, Jim here, Boots and Whiskey Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a great episode here with Lucas John. Um, we, for those of you that have never been here before, or seen an episode or listened to an episode, you'll get to realize real soon that when it comes to preparing for an episode or doing research for an episode or anything like that, doesn't happen. Don't do it. Won't do it. Will never do it. Honest to God. And a lot of reasons for that. One, I'm lazy as fuck. And two, um, if I know the story going in, and I've said this a million times, with my ADHD and my brain, I'm not going to give a shit what the person I'm talking to is saying. That's just me. That's how it is. Um, this is one of those episodes where I'm so glad I didn't know anything going in because I learned so much. And that's what I love about this is that how much I get to learn about somebody else. Um, and I think that's why I do it this way is because we're so enamored, right, with everything, with sound bits and clips and this and that and the other thing. And like, there's no more sitting down and having a conversation with somebody. And that's what this show is. And I'm grateful for it, to be honest with you. There's a lot of things we get into, a lot of things. We talk about a lot of not even going to get into it. We talk about a lot of things that you're going to want to hear. Okay. So a big thank you to Lucas for being here, for his team, for setting everything up. It was absolutely incredible conversation. Like I said, if it's your first time here, welcome. If it's not your first time here, welcome back. What did we do over the weekend? We saw Ghost Towns. Ghost Towns was on the podcast last week. And we saw the last two shows for Dalton and the Sheriffs, and then we saw Whiskey Myers. Um, I wrote a blog about Dalton and the Sheriffs. If you want to go back and check that out on our website, I am going to write a review of the two shows. This week is kind of crazy. Picked up a couple of extra work shifts, so whatever. We'll get those done. We'll get those out. We do have pictures for Whiskey Myers we want to get out. That's it. This weekend, I don't think there's any shows. Christmas, no shows, obviously, for that. And then the New Year, we will be putting out episodes. We're going to put out episodes on Tuesday next week. Next week will be Tuesday. And then the following week, I think we're still going to do Wednesday. We're only going to do Tuesday next week because Christmas Eve is a bigger deal than New Year's Eve, if that's fair. Yeah, and that's it. What else? I think that's it. I think that is it. Yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping. Yeah. If you heard that dramatic sneeze in the background, I apologize, because why would it be fucking quiet in this house ever? So yeah, that's it. We will we'll hope you enjoy the episode, and we'll see you on the other side. Cheers. It's a huge thing.
Oh man, ain't no thing. I'm early to everything,
Yeah.
so ain't no thing at all. Didn't
Yeah.
want to miss this.
No. Well, I appreciate you being here. So, like I said to you a little bit ago, like this is going to be about you. I'm going to kind of let you go, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then I'm sure we'll get into the deep shit here in a little bit.
Oh man. Okay. I'm Lucas. Let's start there at the bare minimum. Born and raised in Williamsburg, Virginia, all the way over on the coast. Moved to Nashville in 2011, so 14 years ago, almost 15 now. That's wild. Went to MTSU, True Blue, did that. Pardon me. Let's see. If we really want to get into it, my daddy's from New York, and his daddy was the only one out of 10 not born in Sicily, which is wild.
Damn.
And then, yeah, it's wild. And then my mama is from Newport News, Virginia, and her family is from Appalachia, from Roanoke, Virginia. Um, and their family had been in Virginia since like 1738. So I came from two very different parents.
Yeah.
Um, in two completely different musical backgrounds. Uh, Obviously, mama's side of the family from Appalachia raised me on country, and then, pardon me, and then daddy, big classic rock guy, and then of course, his family raised me on like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Luciano Pavarotti, like all that stuff. So like super
Yeah.
a super atypical. Well, I guess typical on the Virginia side, but not typical on the uh, on the New York side of things. And then so I moved here in 2011, started writing, started playing all that stuff. Started playing downtown when I was 20, 21, 20, 20. Um, then I was out here for a while, just doing the dang thing on Broadway. Signed an indie record deal with like a brand new record label in 2019. Perfect timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because then in 2020 they went under, and then I moved back to Virginia for 2 years. And then my buddy Frank Ray called me and said he wanted to add a second guitar player to the band. So I was out on the road with him for a year and a half. And then I decided to get off the road in May of 24. But while I was out with Frank, I got to live out a bunch of my dreams and cross off a bunch of things off the bucket list. So thanks, Frank and Oscar. Appreciate y'all. Um, got to do the Opry with Frank, did that 5 times. We were the opening band for Old Dominion on their No Bad Vibes tour in 2023 through the US and Canada. So got to play a bunch of arenas, got to do 2 nights at Red Rocks. That was incredible. Just got to do a bunch of cool things with Frank and the boys, and so I'm really grateful to them for that. Um, but I was wanting to spend some more time with my family. That year and a half was go 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 go. It was pedal to the floor the entire time, and I want to spend some more time with family, and so I've gotten to do that since May of last year. But I put my own band together, um, and we've been go 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 since
Yeah.
since May of 24. So so kind of no rest for the wicked, I guess. But yeah, so I guess that would be the Cliff Notes version of me.
Yeah. No.
Um, so yeah, like just was raised. I don't think my parents realize it. I think they've started to realize how much their music affected me growing up.
Sure.
Because whenever I go home, like a song will come on, and I'm just like, "Hey, I remember this with this song," and they're like, "How in the hell do you remember that?"
Yeah.
You know. But music is was always very integral to me. And that's I hear a song and I think of a memory. I don't think of a memory and then think of like, the music. Like I hear a song and then I'm immediately back there and I can remember everything around it.
Yeah.
So like Daddy, big classic rock guy. So like Bruce Springsteen is everything. He's my favorite artist of all time. With Daddy. Um, and then with Mama, it's Toby Keith. I
Yeah.
remember being raised on the Shock and Y'all album for Toby. That was that was like everything. And then James Taylor, Jimmy Buffett, Garth Brooks, No Fences was a big album with her. And then of course, because my folks split when I was 8, uh, I guess that New York and Appalachia thing really came into play. But uh, but Mama, I distinctly remember blasting Shania Twain growing up to. There's a specific memory that I have. Before I started playing guitar, I actually did musical theater from like second grade
Yeah.
because it was the only way I could get on stage and sing.
Right.
Um, so at my small school, I was in musical theater since like second grade. And I did okay. I wasn't a great actor, but my voice helped. Um, but the college in my hometown, William and Mary, they did a production of The Music Man, and I was Winthrop, the kid with the lisp, um, which that was a fun time. And sometimes I'd forget about it, and I'd be at school. I'd be like, what are you doing on Tuesday? And I'm like, crap, I'm not on stage anymore. It was bad. It was even worse when I started working at Busch Gardens. I left that out. Sophomore year of high school through senior year of high school, I was a singer and guitar player at Busch Gardens, which is a theme park in my hometown.
Yeah.
Um, I did all sorts of shows there. That's really what helped me cut my teeth and get me ready for Nashville. Because I mean, I did 6 shows a day, 5, 6 days a week. I think I did the math, and it was like I did between sophomore and senior year, I did like over 1,000 shows.
Damn.
And it was all different stuff, right? Because Busch Gardens, it's Europe themed. So it's like there's England, there's Ireland, there's Italy, there's Germany, there's France. And when I was working at Busch Gardens, the first year I was there, I was playing jazz guitar for an Italian octet. And I've been playing guitar for 2 years. And I've just been playing rock songs. Like I was playing Cheap Trick.
Right.
And then they had me doing walking bass lines. And I had 3 days to figure it out. I was like, okay, well, here goes nothing. So thank God I figured it out by the grace of God. And then they had me in a country trio. But then the big thing was that my senior year, I was in this Irish band. So I had to have an Irish accent. That's funny whenever I was off stage and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Because I get home to mama and she'd be like, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm thinking that I'd like a steak or something like that. And then she'd be like, Luke, you're not at work. Turn it off. And I'm like, oh, damn, sorry. I forgot. Because I had to talk in it all day long.
Right.
And right next to us was a Irish dance show. So to keep up with the accent, I would hang out with them all the time so that I could just be around it and hear
Yeah.
it. And so yeah, it was hard to turn it off. But anyway, so like um musical theater all through to get started, and with Shania Twain, I did land the plane and I figured out where I was. Um there's a specific memory after one of the shows of the Music Man. There was a big snowstorm that came through Virginia. It was weird. It's like 6 inches of snow. And we get in the car. My little brother's in the back seat. I'm in the front seat. Mama turns on her little Volvo sports car. And man, I feel like a woman kicks off. And of course, her being her, she flips her hair and she said, let's go, girls. And threw her hand up and hit the sunroof button. And 6 inches of snow came dumping through the sunroof right on top of us. Like when I think of man, I feel like a woman. I think about getting a deep freeze in the front seat of a Volvo car. Like it's just little things like that. And my parents are really starting to figure out like that I was super tuned into music from a very young
Yeah.
age. Um and all my memories kind of they are the epicenter of my memories is music, and then everything kind of ripples after that.
Yeah. I mean,
It's wild.
that is a hell of a story, and look, there's a lot to unpack there. So
Well, we got time.
let's unpack it a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to the Opry stuff, right? Because
Okay.
I'm a big Opry guy. Like I think,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
Like
Who isn't?
right. To me, the Opry is like if you've gotten to play the Opry for whatever reason, even as a solo artist, as a in the backup band, whatever, right? Like to me, you've made it, right?
Yeah.
That might be a little cliche and a little,
No.
but
No.
like you've made it, right?
If you're a country music fan, I think that should be on your bucket list.
Right. Right.
You know?
Now, when you play it, right? You said you've played it 5 times. Does
Hmm.
it ever get
Old? No.
right? Yeah.
No.
No, right.
dude, I will be straight up honest with you. The first time we played it, um,
I think I would have shit my pants.
I almost did. Um, so so at that time, um, like I've worn cowboy boots, boots and whiskey, tying everything in.
You know, I
I've
like it.
worn boots since I was like 13 or 14. And then for some odd reason, I think it's when I went back to Virginia, um, and I went back to work at Bush Gardens during COVID and all that stuff. Um, e- every my hometown had kind of changed ever so slightly to where it was a little bit more modern and contemporary and stuff like that. And when I came back, like nobody was wearing boots or like a new wave had just kind of came into my town, which is fine, but I stuck out like a sore thumb, and
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I think I want to try to blend in a little bit. And all my boots were worn to hell, so I just tossed them out, and there were really no boot stores close to me, so I was just like, you know what, so I didn't have any boots for the longest time. Then the first time we played the Opry, I was like, well, I don't have any boots. So like I was wearing like nice shirt, jeans, and I had high top Vans. And Frank looks at me and he was like, dude, you can't do this. I'm like, I know, but I don't have boots. And he's like, here. And he had an extra pair and tossed me an extra pair. So I had those on. I was good to go. We walk out on stage and I almost lost it,
I bet.
right? Because um the year before, um, we played outside the Opry, right on the stage, like outside in the quad or whatever. And I told my nanny, my grandma, I call her Nanny and Pop Pop. Um, but I told Nanny, I was like, I'm going back to Nashville and we're playing at the Opry. And she freaked out, right? Because that's one from Appalachia. And she was like, I grew up listening to that on the radio. Like she was freaking out. And then that next year, before we played the Opry, she passed away. She was my best girl. It was really hard. So then when we got to get on the stage, it was like that whole thing. Like I was remembering growing up with her and hearing Waylon Jennings for the first time and hearing
Yeah,
George Jones for the first time. And it was wild. I also remember the first time I heard Waylon, she was like, he was such a cutie back in the day. And I'm like, Nanny, stop. This is weird. But um, so like in honor of her, when I got on stage, first off, I started freaking out and I was like, you have to keep it together. You have to keep it together. And so then when they were like, all right, time for guitar sound check, I played Only Daddy That'll Walk the Line, which is the first song I ever heard by Waylon Jennings with my nanny.
oh,
Right? Like just bringing back everything.
yeah,
Um, and uh, and Frank looked at me and he was like, you want to step in the circle? I was like, not yet.
yeah.
He's like, when? And I said, when I do the guitar solo for Streetlights, which for his song Streetlights, it's this big flamenco guitar solo. Like it's a really cool guitar solo. Um, I think it was Brian Sutton that played it. So like Brian Sutton doing an acoustic solo is already top tier. So he was like, all right, I'll bring you over to the circle when that solo happens. And one of my friends was in the audience and they got a video of me walking to the circle. And I didn't step one foot into that circle until I started playing the solo. And then Frank said, welcome to the circle for the first time ever, Mr. Lucas John. And
Oh,
I was holding it together. I had to close my eyes. I did not look at anybody. Like in the video, I'm just standing there like like Yngwie Malmsteen, just going at it. Step out of the circle. That was the last song in the set. I step off stage. Like I get one step past the podium and I bawled my eyes out for about 10 minutes.
I would have
I'm
too.
not, I have no shame,
Dude,
no
just
shame in
just
saying
you
that.
telling that story, I've got fucking goosebumps. I can believe.
Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, like I bawled my eyes out. And And a friend of mine was there and she came backstage and she was like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I, I, it, she was like, "Calm down. It's okay. It's okay." And then Riley Mao was there taking photos for Frank. And he walked back. He was like, "Dude, I got this epic picture of you." And he showed me a picture in the circle soloing. And I started crying again.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, "Dang it, Riley, we just calmed him down." Like, I started bawling again. But yeah, dude, it never, ever, ever gets old.
No.
It never does. And I think the other cool thing about it is that every single night it's somebody different.
Well, that's what. Yeah, that was going to be my next thing.
Yeah. So like here, hold on. First time we played was July 15th. It was Kobe Cooper, the Mile Pass Brothers, Charlie McCoy. That was cool. Frank Ray, Jeannie Seeley, Lonnie Smith, the Whites. Um, the second time we played it, Vince Gill was there, and we met Vince, and he
Oof.
sang because Vince Gill was there with Patty Loveless, and they did "Go Rest High on That Mountain" and
Oh.
"All My Eyes Outside
Yeah. Oh,
Stage."
yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and then March 2nd, Steve Earle, and we did the Copperhead Road side stage while he was playing Copperhead Road.
I
Like,
hear he hates that. Does he hate that? Do you know that?
I don't know, and I'm being honest with you, I don't know. I don't get why some artists like I don't. I understand that Tyler Childers is tired of playing Little Feathered Indians, but at the same time, dude, like that's what made you. So
See,
like,
like I, we're
like you don't have to play it every show, but like,
no, like. So
yeah,
this is where we're going to differ, right? You have to play Feathered Indians at every fucking show. Like you have to. Like that is
you know,
that would be like to me, right? That would be like I don't know who's somebody that's relevant.
Garth Brooks never playing Friends in Low Places.
Exactly. Exactly.
You
You
know,
have to
now,
play, especially at this point in his career, right? Or anybody's career that is, made it, right?
yeah,
Based on certain songs. Like you have to play those songs because those, even the passive fans are coming to see those songs.
yes, yes. Now, there's only one artist that did that that I thought, damn, that's pretty cool. And I'm a big Prince fan, love Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and when he released 1999 and he played it New Year's Eve, 1998 going into 1999, or it was 1999 going into 2000.
2000. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. He never played it again. He was like, "This is the last time I'm playing it because
Right. It's
this
irrelevant.
is this is the quintessential time to play 1990." And for that, I'm like, you know what? That's kind of badass.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. But 1999 didn't necessarily make him. It was a massive hit, but Purple Rain made
Right.
him. So if you
Right.
never played Purple Rain again, that would be different.
Right.
So like, yeah, Little Feathered Indians is to Tyler Childers, as Purple Rain is to Prince, as Friends of Low Places is to Garth Brooks, as Should Have Been a Cowboy is to Toby
Yeah.
Keith. So it's like, you, I don't understand that,
I don't either.
um, but so like Steve Earle, you have to play Copperhead Road.
Right. You have
Like you
right.
have to. So we're all standing side stage while he's playing, and we're just, in awe, right? And I love Steve Earle. Like that one album with the Skull and Crossbones and like Snake Oil and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Love that album. Um, when he started playing Copperhead Road, all five of us were standing side stage, and I look at Frank. I'm like, dude, we have to. He was like, what? Pardon me. And I started doing the Copperhead Road. He's like, hell yeah, we have to. And there's a video. There's a video on my Instagram of all of us, Frank in his sparkly sequence blazer. And with Frank, I was the only white boy. The rest of the band was Latino.
Yeah.
So four Mexicans and one white boy doing the Copperhead Road side stage at the Opry. But like, I'll never forget that memory for as long as I live.
Yeah.
Like, last night we had a show at Category 10, which is my favorite place to play downtown. And they do line dancing and all that stuff. There's a big floor and all that. And we always play Copperhead Road, and I always hop down on the floor while we're playing and do the dance with everyone because I line dance. I don't want to miss out. And so, like, every time I play it, I think about being at the Opry, listening to the man 20 feet away from me who
Yeah,
wrote it, playing it, and doing the Copperhead Road with the boys side stage. Like, you never know what's going to happen at the Opry,
yeah,
and it's just it never ever gets old. And then all the doors are open and all the artists are there, and you can just pop in and say, "Hey." When Vince was playing, we were walking by the stage, and Vince is leaning in the doorway, and we're like, "Howdy, sir," and he's like, "Hi guys, I'm Vince," and we're like,
yeah. No shit.
"Yeah, we know." He's so tall too; it's
Is he?
terrifying. He's like 6'4",
Holy
six
shit.
five, and I mean, you know, I was. I was the tallest guy. Well, the drummer's almost the same height as me, but I was the tallest guy out of all the Mexicans,
Right.
So,
That's
um, but I'm 5'8", so I'm like average as hell.
right.
And then you see Vince Gill, and it's like, yeah, yes, sir,
Yeah.
we know who you are, But man, when him and Patty did "Go Rest High on That Mountain," at the Opry, like I'm standing there crying, like it was just
Yeah.
incredible.
You know,
So
it's funny you say, we were talking. Sorry, I have ADHD super bad. So like,
you and me both,
like,
we're
I
following the
figured.
bouncy ball wherever it lands. It's all right.
So I'm a big Jamie Johnson guy. Love Jamie Johnson.
Mm,
Right?
I used to work for him.
Did you?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
All right.
Tell me your story first.
So, I hadn't seen Jamie. I had tried. I've been doing this podcast now almost 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's
And
awesome, dude.
and like we cover shows. We go to everything and everything we can.
Hmm.
And Jamie usually plays here once a year at a venue called Indian Ranch. It's outside, it's small, it's at a campground. They do like daytime shows. It's fucking
Okay.
awesome, right?
Okay.
Now I had put in to do it. I have a connection at Indian Ranch, and like every year it was like, sorry, sorry, sorry.
Oh man.
And like I started to get, I don't want to say pissed off, but like defeated, right? Like
Yeah,
this is one
100%.
person I want to see, and yeah, could I buy a ticket? Sure, but like they sell out. So when you're doing
I
this,
get it.
you have a
I
hundred
get it.
other options to do, so you just move on, right?
Hmm.
But like going through all that, I had always heard that Jamie didn't play in color, or Jamie didn't want to play in color, or whatever, right? Like
Okay.
I had heard these stories that like not every Jamie Johnson show you're going to go to is going to get in color, right?
Okay.
So like a part of me was like, well, I also don't want to take the fucking chance because In Color is my favorite song of all time.
Hmm.
So I say all that to say this. This year I got to get into Jamie Johnson.
Hell yeah.
Right. Now, they were super sweet to me. I was able to take pictures, the whole 9 yards. Like I got a photo pass. It was a great night.
Good deal.
And then like it was a packed house. So by the time I was done all my stuff, I had gotten a spot a little higher up in the auditorium, I guess, or the amphitheater. Now, it's almost at the end of the show, and I'm like, this motherfucker isn't gonna play In Color. Like I can feel it in my bones.
You're just like, it's not going to happen.
Right, it's not gonna happen. And then he starts talking and talking and talking, and then you realize he's gonna play In Color, and I start sobbing
Yep.
because
Yep.
it's one of those things where it's like
It is. It is.
And then since then, we've had conversations with his team about him coming on here, and then his TM has been on, and like we're building that relationship.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, it's one of those moments, like you have the Opry, right? And I have all of these connections I've made in a way to my heroes without my heroes being on, if that makes sense.
Correct. No, it does. It does.
So it's like, in a way, like people are like, oh, well, you haven't had this person. It's like, yeah, but I've had people that could open the door.
Yes.
So to me, it's a like I've made friendships. To me, like you're on this show, you're now a friend, right?
Oh, same to you, baby.
So it's like,
Same to you, baby.
it is what it is, like
Yeah,
this show is like half selfish, half therapy, half, like,
dude. It's bigger than what it
right.
is.
It is. And, like I had put out a post on my personal Facebook the other day where it was like, I had gotten the Spotify numbers for the podcast for 2025.
Mm,
And I almost shit my pants because to me, like, it's not a nothing podcast, but to me, it's like, I don't do it for the numbers. I do it for myself. And I know that's selfish, right?
no, but people resonate with genuineness and
Right.
stuff like that. They resonate with passion.
Right. And that's, uh, I'm notorious. Like, coming into this, I didn't know a thing about you. And I do that on purpose.
I love that.
Because like if I know that all these Opry stories going in, or I know you've played with Frank Ray or this, that, and the other thing, like I have ADHD. I'm already checked out. I'm looking out the window.
Hmm.
Like I don't give a shit because I already know, right?
Right.
And not that I
Right.
don't give a shit, but I'm not focused enough to give it what I want to put into it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't know where I'm going with any of this, but
But
that's,
no, but you have those moments like
yeah,
with Jamie, and it's with shows, and it's wild. Just um, I don't think people truly realize how much larger than life music has an effect on
it
people.
really does.
And so, like when I was back home over Thanksgiving, my mom was driving me back to the airport, and the new, you know, uh, first wave of Stranger Things that came out. I love that show,
I've never seen
and
it.
it's a good show.
Is it?
It's a good show, yeah. And takes place in the '80s. Well, my mama was an '80s baby. Like she was, senior in high school in the late '80s and all that. And besides all the country stuff, right? She, you know, every now and then played me like Cyndi Lauper or like Lionel Richie and stuff like that. And so like her and I have another big connection with '80s stuff. And so the new wave came out and they have a playlist with all like the music from the show because it's just straight bangers from the '80s. And I was like, Mama, new wave of stuff came out. Let's see if you know any of them. And I started playing this. I was like, this one artist, Tiffany, was on the show, and she's like, Tiffany. And I started playing the song. She was like, oh my God, I haven't heard this song in like 35 years. And she remembered every single
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Music is larger than life. I'll
It
tell you
is.
another cool story. So my grandma, my daddy's mama, who was from New York, towards the end of her life, she started suffering like Alzheimer's and dementia and all that stuff. And like would always get my brother and I's name mixed up, wouldn't remember what she had for breakfast, like that kind of thing. Every Wednesday, I would pick her up, and me, my daddy, my brother, and her would go to this small little Italian deli right up the road from her house. Italians, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
And and like that would be our thing to get her out of the house because she didn't drive anymore. And I would pick her up, throw her in the truck, not literally, but almost, because she was an itty bitty thing. She was like 4'10", and she couldn't remember a damn thing from that day. But if I put on Frank Sinatra, she remembered every single word.
Yeah.
And it's just wild that uh to me, it's just crazy that people don't realize the effect that music has on people,
Oh,
not just emotionally, whether it be setting you free or whether it be, memories or whether it be therapeutic. Like it's such a major part of life that sticks with you. So I'm so happy for you that you finally got to have that moment with Jamie.
it was nice, because
Not many people get to have that,
no,
you know?
no. And it's like, I've been fortunate, right? Like I put this thing together kind of on a whim, and the train has just kept rolling, right? Like I am, You know,
That's all you can hope for.
right. I don't care if 5 people listen or 500 people. I don't care if anybody listens, to be honest with you. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like what I've been able to do with this and bring, some sort of awareness of country music to my area, other areas,
Hmm.
artists in general. Like to me, that's what this is all about. This isn't, I'm a very selfish person, and I know people listening to this are probably laughing their ass off because like, yeah, true, true. But like, you know, like I said, this podcast is selfish, 110%. I don't do this for anybody really at the end of the day, except for myself because I need it in a way.
Yeah.
And I know that
Yeah.
sounds fucked up. It sounds fucked up, but I know what it is, right? But I've come across people, you know, up here in Boston or other places, and they see the logo and they're like, "Hey, I listen to your podcast," and like to me, that
That's
blows my
epic.
mind. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
epic.
right, right. It's mind blowing. Like I don't get it, but I appreciate it.
Well, 100%. Dude, the other thing, like doing the podcast for yourself, it's the same thing like being an artist. It's
Right,
like, yes, you want to reach other people, you want to help, you know, move people. Yes. But at the end of the day, if you are motivated by everyone else, whenever you hit a valley, you're going to lose momentum because your focus is on everybody else. But if you focus on doing it for yourself, then you're always going to have that fire. You're always going to have that passion. You're always going to have that momentum because you're not trying to please anybody else. You're trying
exactly.
to please yourself first and foremost. So it may you may think it's selfish, right? But, and we just met. So, maybe, but like at the end of the day, you have to do it for
Yeah,
yourself because that is how you're going to stay consistent.
right, right. Now let me ask you this as an artist, right? Because I know
Sure.
I kind of go through this here where you know as much I don't get paid to do this, right? I don't make any money. I don't, so it is
Much money.
right, right, right. But like, do you have do you have moments where it's like you're like, fuck, like I don't want to play today, I don't want to go on stage tonight, or whatever the case may be, and then you get to that point where you do it and you could like run through a fucking wall because you're just so like in it, and then you realize like, all right, I was just being lazy, I was just tired, whatever, and then because you get in that moment and you're like, now this is all I want to do right now.
Yeah, I've definitely had those moments, and I wouldn't say that it's from I'm tired of doing it because I've been doing it since I was 15, professionally since I was 16, right? So half my life, because I'm 32 now, half my life I've been doing music professionally full
Yeah,
time. Um, and I would say those days where I don't want to do it, it's solely from exhaustion.
good.
Just because I'm like, holy crap, dude. Like I played until 2 a.m. last night. I got home, I was wired. I stayed up till 4 because I was starving and I needed to decompress. And then I'm up and I have a show at 10 a.m. Like it's just from pure exhaustion. But then the minute that I get to the venue and the minute my boys show up, the boys in my band, they're all my best friends. The minute I get there and we start setting up, it's like, I'm happy I got out of bed,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And then whether my voice is shot or whether there's nobody at the show because it's cold as hell in Nashville and nobody's up because they're hungover from Friday night, like I'm still like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
yeah,
But the times that I do, yeah, I mean, I've definitely been there, but it's purely from just exhaustion.
yeah.
It's not from, I don't want to play my guitar today,
Right, right.
but
Now, I guess on the flip side, right? Like this is gonna probably sound wild, right? But for what you've been able to do in your career and all that stuff, and now being your own entity and your own, thing,
Mhm.
how much of that shift, we talked about you, playing with Frank and opening for Old Dominion and doing all these things, right?
Mhm.
Granted, that wasn't, your thing, right?
Oh no, that was Frank.
But like, as an artist, just even as a guitar player, whatever, right? Does it kind of fuck with you mentally where you go from like, all right, I'm playing arenas and I'm playing the Opry, I'm doing all these things, and almost, I don't want to say going back to square one and
I was
playing.
about to say going backwards. Dude, like I've been doing my own artist thing my entire life until Frank.
Yeah,
Every now and then I've gone and played lead guitar for one of my buddies. Like I played lead guitar for Tyler Braden for a couple shows before he was Tyler Braden.
I would.
Um,
He's another bucket list. He's coming to Boston in February, I think, and I need to see him.
Tyler is one of the most talented people. If he hears this, Tyler, I love you, brother. I miss you. Um, he's such a good dude. Um, and Tyler's actually how I met Frank. So when we went to go do this Battle of the Bands with Tyler, Frank and the boys were there, and that was 2017, and that's how I met Frank. Um, but like, and then my buddy Stephen Paul, um, and he was down here. If you hear a dog, I'm sorry. It's somebody can't keep their dog together outside of my apartment complex. Um, but um, but so I've done my own thing for so long, and then every now and then been the side guy. The coolest thing about playing with Frank was that Frank knew that I'm an artist first and foremost.
Right,
But when I got there, Frank and his manager Oscar, they looked at me and they said, "Dude, we know how you are on stage." Because I grew up watching Bruce Springsteen, right? And Bruce Springsteen does not stop moving.
mm.
He's over here, he's over there, he's everywhere. He's on top of the piano, he's crowd surfing, right? And so when I'm on stage, I'm like a damn jackrabbit. I'm just jumping around everywhere, right? And they were like, "We want you to keep doing that." And I was like, "You guys know what you're asking, right?" They're like, "Yes." And the main reason was because it added to the show so that Frank didn't feel like he had to be jumping through hoops on fire.
Right,
Right. So that was incredible for me. Like when we played at Red Rocks, we did 2 nights opening for Old Dominion. And Whiskey Jam was sponsoring the opening bands. Lord, love you. Um, and so Frank Ray's band, we were the house band for all the openers. So it was Graylin James, Graylin Buddy, love you, miss you. Cassie Ashton, that's my girl. I love that girl. And then it was Frank. When we got on stage with Frank, like we did a little bit of a costume change. I had this wild bandana with like a sugar skull on it, the whole nine. And I'd be jumping around. After the first night, Frank's manager, Oscar, pulled me up and said, "Dude, tomorrow night, I need 10% more." And I'm like, "How?" Like I'm already spinning, jumping, all this stuff. And he's like, "I need 10% more." And I had twisted my ankle on one of the jumps that night. And I was like, "Well, hell, I need to figure this out." So the next morning, I went to Walgreens. I got sports tape. I wrapped up my ankle. Pardon me. I was like, "Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something." So then I'm jumping around, jumping around, jumping around. We get to Country Look Good on You, which was Frank's, big hit. And I'm standing in the middle of the stage looking up at a sold out show. And I looked in front of me and the stage was here and there was a little railing about this much higher than the stage. I was like, "I can clear that." So I jumped off the stage at Red Rocks. And I literally like there was this, down chorus, and then there's this big drum fill, and then the whole band comes in. I was like, "You just gotta time it. You just gotta time it." So it's on my Instagram. I think it is anyway. I run massive leap in the air and I land, and there's a drop, right? There's like a 5 or 6 foot drop, and I land on the ground right as the drop hits, and the crowd goes nuts and like all this stuff. And then the funny thing is that I forgot that they don't have stairs to get back up onto the stage. So I had to run the entire front of the stage, and I was giving everybody high fives the entire time. And then I had to run, dive underneath a stanchion to get back up on stage because there weren't any steps and I couldn't jump back up. Um, so that was wild. But like the cool thing was that yes, I was a side guy, but Frank allowed me to still be myself, just not the front man.
Right.
Um, Now to get off of those stages in that tour and then go back to Broadway, I I I didn't see it as going backwards for the sole purpose of I'm the front man again.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like it's like you said, like, yes, I've done all these things with Frank, and that's incredible, and I'm so grateful. But it's not my name. It was
Right.
Frank's name. So I need to go back and I need to build up my name again.
Sure.
Because in Nashville, if you leave town for 6 months, you basically have to start all over again when you get back, unless you're like, Morgan Wallen's lead guitar player,
Right.
or like Luke Combs' band,
Right.
right?
Right.
So like for me, it was like, you know what, uh this is not going backwards. This is just starting fresh.
Nice. Yeah.
And I'm, you know, I'm, you know, I'm just so grateful that it's just worked out that way. And now I've been able to build a band of my best friends that I love, that we create some kick-ass music, and I'm able to start building the fan base that I want to build.
Yeah.
So, was it kind of weird the first show going back to play at Whiskey Row after, we just did Red Rocks? Yeah, that was a little weird. I was just like, okay, this is, different. But no, not backwards. I was just like, you know what? This is for you now.
Right. Right.
This is, this isn't for Frank anymore. This is for you.
Yeah.
So I've just really tried to capitalize on this is my time now,
Yeah.
and it's been super cool. Like we got to play Bridgestone Arena twice during the Predators games. We did one January, and then we did one last month in November, and like it's it's been going really well, and I'm super grateful to everybody that's been supporting us and everybody that's continued to book us. Um, just because like it's been a really great building year, and it's just given me a lot of hope and inspiration from coming off such a big tour
Yeah.
to going back to doing my own thing again.
Right.
It's like, okay, now I've seen what it can be. So now that I know that I could do that as a lead guitar player, I'm like, well, then I can do it as the front man,
Right.
you
And
know?
you see it all the time where it's like, some of these, bigger artists, I say bigger, but like artists that people would know, right, have a backstory of kind of like where you've come from, where,
Keith Urban played lead guitar for Brooks and Dunn for 10 years.
right, right. There's all those stories that people don't have no idea, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you've done, and not in a bad way, but
No, you're not going to hurt my feelings. No.
It doesn't matter that you're Frank Ray's guitar player. What matters now is that you're doing your thing as your entity and building it, that way. And it's
The way I want to, yeah.
right, right. And
Yeah.
it sounds good too.
Well, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's been the biggest blessing, like having my band, that has been the most, that's been the catalyst,
Yeah.
right? Because like when I was playing downtown before, yeah, I had like my usual guys, but it wasn't set in stone. But now, like, let's say like bass player can't make a show, like he's pissed that he can't be there, right? And it's Lucas, John, and the Delinquents, and it's my band, and it's my best friend of 14 years on lead guitar. Michael Pasculi on bass, who's become one of my best friends, and then Will White on drums, who's also become one of my brothers in this world. And we're playing every single, anytime that I have a full band show, it's them, minus the one random time that I co-front with somebody.
Right.
Like it's them. And we all, in some way, we were all raised extremely different, but we're all cut from the same cloth. It's kind of like a quilt, okay? I promise you it's going to make sense, right? So like a quilt, like if Nanny made a quilt, there's going to be a bunch of different looking patches,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But they're all stitched together and there's continuity and they all work together to create this beautiful thing,
Right.
right? And that's my guys,
Yeah.
right? Like Seth, he was born and raised in BFE, Illinois, and he was raised on the Eagles and like 90s country, right? Massive NASCAR fan, like the whole nine. Will looks like he should have been in a White Snake cover band. He's got, dude, I'm not even joking. Like he's got the long blonde hair, he's got the rings, he's got, the skinny jeans and like the loose t-shirt hanging off the shoulder. Like literally, he looks like he should be in a White Snake cover band. And he's from upper Indiana, like pretty close to Chicago. And he was big blues guy. But his daddy raised him on classic rock as well, and he's also a big jazz guy. And then Michael is from Long Island, New York, and he was on tour with a metal band, like opening for Seven Dust.
No shit.
Right? Yeah.
Huh.
But he also went to music school like Will did. So like he's, into everything complicated. But he also is a big classic rock guy. So we all have that classic rock
Yeah.
foundation in a sense. But like whenever we go to do Fly Like an Eagle by Steve Miller Band, like we turn it into a jam.
Yeah.
And so like we all trade solos. Michael takes a bass solo, Will takes a drum solo, Seth takes a guitar solo, I take a guitar solo, and we all we all love music, not just start the song, end the song.
Right.
We're all like, what could we do with this song to make it cool? And we just love playing together and we just love letting music be music. So that's where those patches from the quilt, it's like, yeah, like I didn't go to music school. I mean, I did, but I didn't go to music school. I went to recording industry school. Seth was a lineman. He went to lineman school, but he just grew up playing guitar since he was 12. Will went to music school. Michael went to music school. Will's a blues guy. Michael is a metal guy. But we all have that stitching to where we all meet and then we just all work together through that. Without those guys, I don't think that this year would have been what it is. And like, it's so much so that when I went in to cut new music, they're the band.
Right.
Like Little Rock is the Delinquents. It is my guys that I play with. And the main reason I did that was because I come from the old school, classic rock side of things to where it's like Bruce Springsteen took the E Street Band into the studio
Right.
to do that. And I was like, when people hear my songs, and they come to see the show live, I want them to be like, sounds just like the record or better, right? Like I want them to hear the integrity and hear the same people playing it.
Yeah.
And like on all these songs, like we got into the studio with, it's really kind of a funny story. Our sound man, we played at Dirk Bentley's Whiskey Row for going on 2 years now, every Saturday morning. And our sound guy, Jared Stong, we love him. He's like the fifth member of the band, right? It's like the one dude from the Beatles. He's like the fifth Beatle, right? I'm not calling this the Beatles because that's kind of pretentious, but I'm just saying the metaphor, right? The simile. Because Will is definitely a better drummer than Ringo. But anyway, so
It's true.
when the band started talking about getting into the studio, and Jared, like when he moved here from Philly, he's like, I'm not doing country. And he looked at us and he was like, I'll produce you guys. And I was like, send me some of your stuff. Let me hear you. And I really loved what he did because he just let the music speak. And I'm like, that's what I want. So we got into the studio with Jared, and in pre-production, I was talking to Jared, and he's like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, I don't want any track that is not the boys.
Mhm.
So, like, when you listen to Little Rock, when you listen to Rich Girl, which comes out on Friday, right? Um, there are no sounds that is not us. And because I feel like that's lost nowadays in the
Yeah.
music world, everything is tracks. Everything is, if you go and see a show and you don't hear those tracks, people are like, oh, this sounds different. I wanted complete transparency, pardon me, complete continuity from the recording to the live show.
Yeah.
Because that's how it used to be done. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
But so like the harmonica on Little Rock, Will plays harmonica, and he plays it while he's playing drums.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's a talented little shit. It
Yeah.
pisses me off. But anyway, but it's like in the best way. But it's like when you hear Little Rock live, it's the same tracks as when we recorded it. It's the same four dudes. Same with Rich Girl. Comes out on Friday. It's the same four dudes. It's us. And that's just super important to me. When, there was one time I'll never forget, we were playing in Idaho on tour with Old Dominion, and the tracks went out. Like Ableton crashed mid-show, tracks are gone. And Frank was like, boys, you're talented enough. Let's figure it out. And we got through it. We 100% got through it. Now, the things that we're missing is that, like streetlights, there's a horn section, right? Because that's a very reggaeton, Latino kind of thing. And the horn section is gone. Now, did we crush it? 100% we did. But, all those tracks were missing. And I don't want that opportunity to happen with us.
Right.
When you come and see a Lucas John show and the delinquents are there, you are going to hear what you heard on the record.
Yeah.
And we're going to make it better than that. We're going to build onto that. But that was just very important to me. And some people are like, dude, like, that's not the Nashville way. And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Right.
I don't care. Nashville is not, in some ways, it is 2 + 2 = 4. But like, in some ways, I'm just like, dude, like, you just need to stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
So and that's why I was like, we're going to make these songs sound sick with just the four of us.
Yeah.
And by God, in my opinion, if we haven't done that, because like, I just want to get into the studio and make music that I'm proud of, doing it for me, circle back to that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to make music that I'm like, man, that sounds like something I grew up on. Right. And without those boys, like, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I could have gotten into the studio with the A-listers like everybody else does. And like, you can create incredible music from that. It's
Yeah.
been done. It's been done. But I wanted to get in with my band because I know that you can't replicate chemistry.
You
So
can't.
you can't. So like, I got in there with the boys, and we've just been rocking out. And so like, that's also helped over the last year and a half of transitioning from, side guy back to a front man, having that band. Like, that's something I would tell any artist. It's like, get a band, keep them, do whatever you need to do to keep them, because those are the guys that are going to, if you can find people that believe in your music and they play an instrument and they are good, you don't need the best. I think my guys are the best, but that's because I'm biased. But like, you need to find the best fit for you and people that invest in you and believe in you. If you do that, dude, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Like, that's the limit. I
Now,
don't want to play a show without him.
let me ask you this, because I feel like I could ask you this and get a straight answer because of the way the conversation's been going. But there was a time there where I was talking to, it seemed like I was talking to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that was playing Lower Broadway on a regular basis all the time. And it was right around the time where the whole, what was it, last year, the year before, where the whole Tootsie's contract thing came out and everybody was pissed. And you remember this story, right? Yeah. You know,
Yep.
you can say whatever you want. because like I said, 5 people are only going to listen to this anyway. So, um,
Yeah, and then with my luck, this one is going to go viral, and then everybody's going to hear about it.
that would make me have to do a lot more work than I'm willing to do.
All
But
right.
like you hear anybody that's in this industry, we all kind of talk about it either behind closed doors or in public or whatever, right? About the lower Broadway scene. Now, for somebody that's there, do you have, obviously you have your places you play regularly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have places that if you had the choice, I'm going to play here every night of the week, that's what I'm going to do. Or do you have places that on lower Broadway that you haven't played that you wouldn't mind playing, or you don't have to name names if you don't want to, but like,
I'll name names. I love ripping my people. If I could play two venues every night of the week, it would be Category 10, Luke Combs' new bar, and Whiskey Row. And the reasons I say those two, one, when I came off the road with Frank, a friend of mine, Ryan Willega, that he used to run sound at Tequila Cowboy, which is now Posties. And he became the head of Jam Factory, which is a small booking agency down on Lower Broad. And I reached out to him when I got off the road with Frank because I was like, hey, man, I'm getting off the road with Frank. I'm going to come back down to Broadway for a bit. Like, I need a place to play. Do you have any recommendations? And he was like, man, Whiskey Row, we're going to put you there and we're going to work you to death until you say stop. And he had my back. And I'm so grateful to him for that because we've played Whiskey Row now for almost 2 years, every Saturday morning. And I love it there because Whiskey Row allows us to be us. Not that Category 10 doesn't,
right.
but when we play Category 10, we're there every Sunday night, and it's a line dance bar. So we need to play the songs, and we want to play the songs that cater to the line dancers, right? That's one of my favorite things is to play a song and to see an entire dance floor filled with line dancers.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that, maybe only a lot of Texas boys know because they play the dance halls, right? There's a certain magic with that. But with Whiskey Row, we play everything from Waylon Jennings to Alice in Chains, right? And
Yeah.
I never make a set list. I have not made a set list in a year and a half. Because whenever we get there, I want to play the songs that everybody else wants to hear because that's how we're going to have a good time. Now, we don't play Wagon Wheel, Tennessee Whiskey, or Morgan Wallen, but
What
yeah,
the three?
dude, stop. That is
Listen,
not your holy trinity.
no,
Stop.
God, no. If I never
I was about
heard
to say,
Wagon
I
Wheel or
expected more from you. This podcast is over. We're done. Like,
I say it all the time. Like, so I made a shirt, right? This is total sidebar, but I made a shirt because I'm kind of an asshole, and it says, "You're as smooth as titties and whiskey," and on the back it says, "Or whatever David Allan Coe said."
yeah, because he's first one to do
Right, and like
it.
everybody's like nobody understands it. I'm like, Tennessee Whiskey is not a fucking Chris Stapleton tune. Like,
Well, it is. I mean, Chris Stapleton did, he breathed life into
right,
that song, right?
right,
But first it was David Allan Coe, then it was George Jones,
yeah,
and then it was,
yeah.
it was pretty funny. One night I was playing with Jesse Rose, I was co-fronting, and somebody walked up and requested Tennessee Whiskey. And then the bass player, Noah, he was like, let's do the George Jones version. And we're like, yeah. And we did it. And everybody in the crowd's like, this isn't Tennessee Whiskey. And we're like, yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
it is. Right.
Educate yourself.
Right.
But
Right.
but yeah, like I love that shirt, by the way. I want one. I can't wear it in front of my mama, but I want one.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, she'd flap me for that. But yeah, like Whiskey Row has allowed us to be us and just to entrust us with the crowd, right? Because there's so many venues downtown now, and I mean this, that say like you have to play up tempo songs, you have to keep it to this, don't talk to the crowd too much, like all this stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, well, since when are y'all musicians?
Right.
Right? Like I can understand it to a certain extent,
Sure.
100%, right? But when I'm at Whiskey Row, I talk to the crowd. I break the fourth wall. I want everybody in that room to know I'm you. The only difference is that I have a guitar in my hands. That is the only difference. I'm a small town boy like y'all. Now, granted, Williamsburg isn't small town USA, but it's not big. So, like, I'm just small town boy like y'all. I'm just in charge of the jukebox. But I want to, you know, I want to hear what y'all want to hear on the jukebox, right? And they've allowed us to do that. So Whiskey Row, and then Category 10. Category 10, I mean, Category 10 is the third largest venue downtown,
Really?
right? Yeah, because it's Category 10, and then it's the Ryman, and then it's Bridgestone. Like,
Oh,
dude, the main hall is 4 stories.
holy
Like,
shit.
yeah, there's a massive dance floor. Like, I don't know. Here, I'm going to pull it up on my laptop real quick and see what the max capacity is for Category 10 main stage. But, like, max capacity, Category 10 Nashville. Let's see. Um, Indoor capacity of approximately 3,000 people.
Holy shit.
Hmm. Main stage, 1,500 concert goers and the massive rooftop. Yeah.
Wow.
Overall, indoor, outdoor, 3,000. Main stage could hold up to 1,500 people for the ticketed shows. But that's just on the first floor. And
Oh,
then there's two balconies,
holy shit.
right? And so it's the third largest venue downtown. But like the other cool thing about Category 10 is that because they do line dancing, the line dance community has made that a hang spot.
Right.
And so now, like on Sunday nights, I get there an hour and a half early because I've made friends with the line dancers. And they're my buddies now. Like they're my friends. Like they have my number and they text me. And it's like whenever we show up to Category 10, we're friends with the line dancers. We're friends with the line dance instructors. We're friends with the bar staff. We're friends with the lights and sound crew. Like when we show up, it's just a hang.
Right.
And then I'll hop off the stage and line dance with everybody because when I was in college, I went line dancing 3 nights a week. So it's like, but Category 10 in Whiskey Row, if I could pick two places to play every night of the week, it would be those two places because it's just when we get there, and I also attribute that to my style of a show with talking to the crowd and breaking the fourth wall. But like when we get there, it's a hang. Like it's a jam. It's an experience.
Right.
They allow us to be us. When we play Purple Rain at Category 10, because the Category 10 they have this massive LED show with lights that drop down and like all this stuff, and they have massive LED screens, and it's the sound crew. They'll be like, dude, can you play Purple Rain tonight? I'm like, yeah, we'll save that for the last song. When we play Purple Rain, it's a 10-minute version of Purple Rain, and the whole entire room is purple. Like they have like purple, like they have raindrops going back on the LED screens. The lights will be dropping and moving, and it's purple and it's flashing and everything, and it's a whole experience. And it's just like, for me, performing it, that just takes me to a whole nother universe because then I can experience everything. Like I'm sitting in my room, and imagining like how I want it to look like. Like it's just an experience. So yeah. For the short answer to your question, Whiskey Row and Category 10, those two places. I've already told people like I want to get my band out on the road. That's the goal for next year is trying to get them out on the road Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But I've told people, I'm like, but we need to be back in town Sunday at 2 p.m. to play at Category 10 for our closing shift because that's one show that I just don't want to miss. Because it's almost like being out on tour with the way that we've just made such good friends with the Lights and Sound
Right.
crew, and they're just so talented and phenomenal. And they know my show now. So it's almost like being out on tour for an arena show
Yeah.
because, like, I go to play Copperhead Road and they, have the lights set up, everything, and they have like cool video and everything behind it. And I go to play Purple Rain and they do that. And I go to play whatever song and they're like, okay, it's these moments. Or like when we play Little Rock live, because one of the line dance instructors, Megan James, she choreographed a line dance to Little Rock
Oh,
and they
nice.
teach it at Category 10.
Nice.
Like they teach it to anybody that comes there. Like whenever we play Little Rock, like the Lights and Sound crew like sets it all up, and it's almost like we have our own show on tour.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
like, we need to be back on Sunday night because
Yeah.
that's the one show that we want to keep. So yeah, sorry for the ramble, but yeah,
Oh no.
that's
There,
those are the two shows.
there was one more thing I did want to ask about. I made sure I touched upon because for me and for what I do, it's always been an interest, and I was lucky enough to get to meet Ward here once,
Ward is the man.
so you know where I'm going with this.
No, I don't.
All right, how was Whiskey Jam?
Dude, bucket list. I mean, like that everybody knows, like you said about the Opry, everybody knows if you've played Whiskey Jam, you're doing something,
Yeah,
right? And I played Whiskey Jam as a lead guitar player for Frank, for Stephen Paul, who I mentioned before, pardon me. But I I don't know because I moved here in 2011 when Whiskey Jam started. And it's crazy because I texted Ward when we got booked. And he was like, I cannot believe that this is your first time playing as an artist. I'm like, it's wild. It's wild. But it's a God thing. It's a universe thing. It's whatever you want to call it. For me, it's a God thing. But it's like, I could not have asked for a better Whiskey Jam debut because it was with my boys in the band. Jared was there, the producer, and we got to play our own music. And I am so grateful. So many of my friends came out, Patricia, Maddie, Brandon, Davina, like all of them were like, there was a crew of my friends that were there. And it's also kind of funny when when we got up
hold
there,
on. I don't
we
mean to,
had,
your
oh,
video.
here, hold on.
There we go. Okay.
Did that fix it?
Yeah.
Okay. Something popped up.
No, it's all good.
Um, when we got there, I was thinking it's three songs, right? Because that's what I knew
Right.
about Whiskey Jam. It's three songs. And then Ward was like, all right, four songs. And I was like, huh? I was like, he was like, yeah, we bumped it up to four. And I was like, shit. Okay. So I look at the boys and I was like, hey, could we bust out? Do we bust out Rich Girl? And device storage is running low. You should stop the recording and free up device data.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me go in here and delete a few things.
It's only because we've been talking way longer than the app is used to.
You're fine. Oh, is it the storage through the app?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well,
It's all good.
device storage is running low. But
It's all right.
I'm just gonna keep hitting okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
But so I was like, boys, can we bust out Rich Girl? And they were like, yeah, we can do it. So we busted it out. We never played it live before. And we busted it out and we made it work. And like it was just the crowd was electric. The boys crushed it. I was just able to achieve a milestone that I thought about since 2011 when I moved there and Whiskey
Right.
Jam became a thing. It was incredible. And I'm just so grateful that we got to do it. And it's also cool that we got to play Rich Girl, right? Because, like, we had picked three songs that we thought were pretty up tempo and were the ones that the crowd would like.
Yeah.
But hindsight being 2020, and then with Rich Girl coming out on Friday, it's like, okay, cool. We got to do all this stuff, and we got to play, the songs, one that was out, and then sneak in the little thing of like, almost like a Back to the Future thing, like you don't know the shit. You don't know the song yet, but your kids are gonna love it, like kind of thing. So that, yeah, whiskey. I appreciate you asking. Whiskey
Now,
Jam was
now
amazing.
for somebody who has played it in both situations, right? Do you prefer it in the loser days, or is it forget about setup and notoriety and all that, right? The loser days rather than what is it? A whiskey row now.
It's a Whiskey Row now.
Now,
I
what's the obviously Whiskey Row is a much bigger venue, right? But like, how different is the feel?
so I would say the feel's the same,
Okay,
right? Like Whiskey Jam is is not a you know it's not a location. It's grown to something way bigger than that. Now, of course, as somebody that's been here for so long, like I miss the losers days just because that's what I grew up with,
right.
right? But just because it's not at losers anymore does not mean that the feel or the integrity or anything has changed. And that's not me being political or, like trying to placate a certain answer. Like I will say, I miss the losers days.
Right.
Like, and not for anything, but because like that's what I grew up with. Like that's what I knew. Right. But the feel is the same. The integrity is the same. The magic and the electricity is the same. So that hasn't changed, right? But us locals were like, we do miss the losers days, but Whiskey Jam has grown so much bigger than that now. Like, and so, hats off to Ward for, because Whiskey Jam sponsored us on the Old Dominion tour,
Right.
right? So now Whiskey Jam is international and
Right.
crushing it
Right.
and doing all this stuff. So you have to grow,
Right.
you have to move, and you have to grow. But and hats off to him for like taking it to where he's taking it. But short answer, yes, I miss the Whiskey Jam days. Has it changed? No. It is the electricity, the magic is still the same. And the only reason I miss the losers days is for nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's that's the only reason.
Well, I could talk to you for the rest of the day, but I don't want to lose any of the shit we've done.
No.
But we will do this again for sure.
Okay.
Because
I love that.
and like that's the other part of the, like what I was talking about earlier, where there's some days where like I get up and I'm just like, I don't have it today. And a lot of it is because, and this sounds fucking dick, but you don't me not doing my homework is on me, right? But me not doing my homework also is like the fear of the unknown. Because I've had people on here where it's like, I like, is this over yet? Right. And then there's guys
Right.
there's guys like you where it's like, oh shit, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. And I feel like we just started.
No, yeah. 100%. It
Uh,
allows for magic and moments when you
Yeah.
when you there is a strategy. Don't let anybody tell you there's not.
yeah. I'm gonna tell myself there's not, but that's fine.
Yeah, whatever you need,
But
But no, I appreciate you having me, man. This has been a blast.
Yeah, and like if I haven't been to Nashville now in, oh my god, it's been almost 8 years, but I hopefully in 26 will get down there.
Dude, when you get here, if you don't hit me up, I'll be pissed.
I know I will.
Right.
I definitely
Okay.
will. What I'm gonna do is I for some reason I wasn't following you on Instagram until last night, and
I'm following you back now.
right,
I'm following you back.
so I'll just shoot you. I'll shoot you a message and send you my number so that you can have it.
Please do. Perfect.
And
Perfect.
but yeah, we'll and if you ever get up here before I get to there, just holler.
Oh yeah. We'll hit up Luke's and get a lobster roll.
Yeah. Oh, you can have that. I'll just drink. I'm the worst New Englander in the world. Like I hate seafood. But
okay, fair enough.
whatever.
Well, we can hit up a bar too. We can
Sounds
get a
good.
whiskey. That's fine with me.
I'll drink. That's
Hell yeah.
what I'm good
in.
at.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, I will. We'll talk soon, and
Yes, sir.
you're killing it, and just keep fucking rocking and rolling, man.
I appreciate it, man. That's
Yeah,
the
man.
plan.
Absolutely.
Thanks again,
See
brother.
you, bud.
Be safe.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Our conversation with Lucas John again. Lucas, thank you so much for being here. It was an honor to get to know you and chat in the whole 9 yards. So, everybody else, thank you for being here. That's it. That's it. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, you have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the flip side. Cheers, guys.